Hey Popverse family! If you love deep crime thrillers, murder mysteries, and mind-bending psychological twists, you're in the right place. Today, we're diving into the chilling Korean drama 9 puzzle, released on May 21st, 2025. It's packed with strange characters, twisted timelines, and dark secrets. Before we jump in, don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss our future breakdowns. Trust me, you'll want to stay till the end for this one. Let's go. The show kicks off with a string of murders and some puzzle pieces. Quite literally, we meet a strange girl, one who notices everything about others but keeps forgetting her own stuff. Then there's an officer, a man obsessed with a case that's haunted him for a decade. Cut to a rainy day. A high school girl named Aina is waiting at the bus stop. She eventually gets home, enters the door code, and steps inside. That's when she notices something under her foot, a puzzle piece. Aina's parents have already passed away. The only family she has left is her uncle Dong-hee, and now his dead body is lying on the floor. There's a sharp object plunged into his neck, and blood is everywhere. The police arrive to investigate. Chief Dong-soo is shocked. He knew the deceased personally. Dong-hee was once a respected superintendent. With him is a young officer, Kim, who notices something strange about Aina. She's not very emotional. He checks out her art studio and finds a sketching tool, and all identical to the murder weapon. The estimated time of murder is 9 p.m., and Aina had called the police 13 minutes later. When Chief Dong-soo questions her, Aina says she doesn't remember anything. All she knows is she took the bus at 8:30 p.m., walked home, which usually takes about 20 minutes, so she likely arrived around 9. Her memory comes back only when her caretaker screamed upon seeing Dong-hee's body. Kim doesn't buy her story. He says she's the prime suspect. 6 months ago, Shed bought a set of 3 awls, one of which could be the murder weapon. Also, there was no sign of forced entry, meaning the killer knew the victim. And that 13-minute delay in calling the police? Highly suspicious. But Dong-soo counters if Aina arrived around 9 and called at 9:13. That gives her only 10 minutes to commit the murder. Killing a grown man that fast isn't easy. Kim argues there's a shortcut from the bus stop that saves her 8 minutes, making it possible. Kim presses her further. He brings up an argument she had with her uncle about staying in the same dorm. Aina admits it happened. So Kim theorizes she murdered him over that fight, and her memory loss is just an act. He even says her fingerprints are on the awl. Still, none of this proves guilt. It's her awl, and finding her prints in her own house? Totally normal. Aina returns home, and hey race where it gets seriously creepy. She lies down right where her uncle's body was, imagining herself attacking him from behind. She then notices a puzzle piece on the floor, with a scratch drawing of a rabbit. She rushes to the crime unit and shows it to Kim. Of course, he dismisses it entirely. This all happened back in 2013. Now, we fast forward to 2023. Aina is bungee jumping. Yes, jumping off bridges for fun. Why? Because she says it makes her feel close to death. Afterward, she visits her therapist, Dr. Lee, whom she's been seeing for 10 years, and she's laughing while recounting her uncle's murder. She is definitely weird. Aina says no one believes her blackout story. They all still think she's the killer, and even though she acts cool, she's terrified of going home. She keeps having the same recurring dream, killing her uncle with her own hands. After therapy, we meet Dr. Mong, another staff member at the clinic. He invites Aina to his upcoming art exhibition. Then we see Kim. Now in disguise, he looks homeless, wears a hoodie, has tattoos, and shabby clothes. He visits a cafe to confront Siem, Aina's old dorm mate from 10 years ago. She ran away from Korea and is now living under a fake identity with her criminal husband. Kim threatens the husband, forcing Siem to admit something. On the day of Dong-hee's murder, Aina told her, "You are my alibi." Back at the station, Aina sees Kim in his disguise and mocks him. Kim tells her he just met her old dorm mate, but Aina doesn't seem to care. She actually gets along well with everyone except Kim. Meanwhile, Dong-soo has been promoted to commander, and a man named Young is now the new chief. Kim, stuck on this decade-old case, hasn't progressed much in his career. Later, Kim gets a WhatsApp message from Aina. She's recommended a dress for him, saying it would suit him. Yeah, their relationship is weird. Aina, by the way, is now a criminal profiler. Thanks to her late parents, who owned a hospital, she's also loaded. She remembers everything about her co-workers, like their favorite snacks and even which floors they get off on. She presses the elevator buttons for everyone. But strangely, she often forgets her own stuff, like her keys. Aina's team starts investigating the murder of a 10-year-old boy named Jonas. Aina notices he labeled every personal achievement, suggesting he hated sharing recognition. His older brother found the body and had always been worse than Jonas in academics. But the brother's statement is odd. He avoids emotional words like brother or knife, using vague terms like sharp object. He gives more detail about his parents' reactions than the actual crime, sounding almost angry that they were sad. Aina tells her team she suspects the older brother. They say he blacked out too and remembers nothing. So Aina decides to talk to him directly, but forgets her keys on the way. She can remember everyone else's snack preference, but not her own keys. Weird, right? She tells the boy they'll both recount their stories line by line because something similar happened to her. I reached home at 9, she begins. He repeats, I reached home at 9. I took off my shoes. I took off my boots. She describes entering her door code. He echoes back with his own keypad story. But when he starts describing the murder, he suddenly switches from past tense to present. My brother is lying in blood. Aina calls it out. You were using past tense. I arrived home, I removed my shoes, but now you're suddenly in present tense. Are you making this up right now? The kid stumbles and slips up. I went to the kitchen, he says, accidentally revealing where he probably grabbed the knife. Boom. Case closed. Now, at the Violent Crimes Department, we meet a new recruit named Choi. He's drinking with Young, Kim, and Dong-soo. They discuss how Kim has been obsessed with Aina for a decade, waiting for her to slip. But none of them actually believe she's a murderer. Kim, frustrated, wonders aloud, why would a wealthy girl become a criminal profiler? Maybe so she can keep protecting herself? Later, Kim revisits the old case. He remembers Aina boarded the 147 bus at 8:30 p.m. CCTV showed only 2 to 3 passengers on it. She took the shortcut, no cameras there. Meanwhile, across town, a shady man signals to Mi Young, the bar owner, at 8:45 p.m. Aina's caretaker sees Kim outside her house and panics, calls the police, thinking someone's about to break in. Then, a new officer named Sergeant Nam shows up. She tells Kim someone saw a stranger lurking in the area. He's forced to leave. While waiting in the car with her partner, she sees a red car zoom past, but can't follow it because her partner's in the store. Inside that red car is Mi Young, panicked, driving toward an old city building. Remember, timing is everything in this story. In the final scene, Aina receives a package from a courier. Inside is another puzzle piece. This one shows a woman whispering into a girl's ear. She rushes to fit it with the first piece and immediately tries to call Kim, but he doesn't pick up. We begin at 11:15 p.m. Aina arrives at the One City apartment, searching for Kim. She knows his mother lives here, and he visits her every weekend. But when she speaks to his mom, she says Kim hasn't come by today and sends Aina away. Moments later, Kim's mother calls him to say one of his colleagues, Aina, was asking about him. Meanwhile, Aina steps outside and suddenly forgets which floor she parked her car on. While searching, she spots a red car with its headlights on. Curious, she looks inside, and what she sees stops her cold. It's Mi Young's dead body. Her eyeliner is smeared, eyes bloodshot, and someone has strangled her with a string. At 11:50 p.m., the cops arrive, including Sergeant Nam, who instantly recognizes the red car. She's hit with guilt. If only she had followed the car earlier, Mi-young might still be alive. By the time Kim gets there, Aina is gone. But it's clear that Aina was the one who reported the body. The estimated time of death? Sometime between 10:10 and 11:30 p.m. Kim checks his phone. Aina had messaged him about the murder at 11:38 p.m. Suspicious. We learn that Mi-young was wealthy and lived in a luxury apartment in the old city. When police inspect her home, nothing valuable is missing. Not her wallet, not her jewelry. So, it's not a robbery. Kim checks the parking lot CCTV, but there's no camera where Mi-young's car was parked. That means the killer chose a blind spot to commit the murder. Kim orders his junior, Sub-Inspector Choi, to collect dashcam footage from other cars. After all, most cars in Korea have dashcams that record everything. Next, Kim checks the building entrance footage. He sees that at 11:21 p.m., Aina rang Mi-young's doorbell, right after the estimated time of death. Now Kim is even more suspicious. The next day, Aina confronts Kim, annoyed that he's been ignoring her calls. She says she even went to his mom's place. Then she reveals that she received another puzzle piece, just like the one near her uncle's body. She believes it's the work of a serial killer, someone who left a puzzle piece after killing her uncle and sent another before this murder. But Kim brushes her off and goes to visit Dr. Lee, Aina's therapist. He had also visited her 10 years ago, but she didn't reveal anything then, and she's just as silent now. Kim shows her the puzzle piece, thinking she might know something. As he exits the clinic, Aina shows up and immediately asks him, "Why were you visiting my therapist?" Kim fires back, "Why did you ring the doorbell at Mi-young's apartment after killing her?" Aina smirks and says mockingly, to avoid getting caught, obviously. Then she offers her own theory. The murder happened at 11:32 p.m., which means she rang the doorbell after the killing. But Kim isn't buying it. He won't even listen to her logic. Back at the office, Captain Young advises Kim to focus on Mi-young, not Aina. He says, if there's a connection between them, you'll find it through Mi-young. So Kim visits the Griffin Bar, Mi-young's regular hangout. Unfortunately, there are no CCTV cameras. He talks to the bartender, who tells him Mi-young often sat with a big-built cop, a regular customer. Kim checks her call history. The last missed call, at 8:30 p.m., came from none other than Commander Han. When Kim confronts Han, he says he had called to cancel a reservation at the Griffin Bar, but Kim presses him. If your call didn't go through, why didn't you try again? And someone under your name even reserved a whiskey that night. Han gets defensive. Everyone in the department goes to that bar. Why single me out? Now, Kim decides to interrogate everyone in the violent crimes unit, but he doesn't get any useful answers. Meanwhile, the media catches wind of the investigation and leaks the story that police officers might be connected to the murder. Kim then speaks to Dong-soo, who admits he went to the bar that night but claims he left by 9:30 p.m. Kim doesn't trust either Dong-soo or Han. They don't have any solid alibis for the time of the murder. On the other side, Aina is doing her own investigation. She also goes to meet Han, but her questions are more calculated. She asks if Mi-young and her uncle ever had any connection, given that her uncle was friends with many officers. Han denies it. Back at the station, Chief Young gives Kim a crucial clue. Mi-young's resident card is missing from her wallet, which means someone might have used her ID. We then see Aina at a seminar, giving a presentation on how she profiled a famous serial killer. His victims were all women of different ages with no obvious connection. Students try to piece the clues together, but they all miss something. Aina reveals the link. All murders happen on Wednesdays. The class still doesn't get it. She says, "Go to hell." That wasn't just sass. It was the last phrase the killer whispered to his surviving victim. Turns out the killer only targeted church-going women, because his wife had left their sick child to go to church and the child died. Since then, he developed a twisted hatred and hunted women who resembled her and attended church on Wednesdays. He killed them in places near churches. This moment shows just how sharp and observant Aina is. She notices even the smallest patterns others miss. Now, in the final scene, Aina returns home. Her caretaker prepares to leave, but Aina asks her to stay the night because of the rain. Still, the woman leaves. Later that night, in the dark, Aina is suddenly overwhelmed by a flashback of her uncle's murder. She feels something new, like someone else was also present in the dorm that night, watching her